Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It's a beautiful sunny day here in North Yorkshire, although it is very windy. You might be able to hear it in the background as it's rattling the panes of glass in my greenhouse. I've got quite a few jobs on the good old to-do list to be done today. As you will have seen already, I've already cut the grass. I'm going to be spending some time walking over the lawn today, back and forth, as I'm doing some planting out. So I thought it'd be a good idea to give it a wee trim before I do so. So cut the lawn, we can tick that off the list, already done. I've got sweet peas, they're out there actually, just being acclimatising to the outdoors climate. I moved them from the greenhouse outdoors, in and out on a few occasions over the last couple of weeks. If you remember, I think I planted or I sowed about 35 to 40 seeds for my sweet peas. I lost quite a few of them, so I'm down to about 18 I think. So today I'm going to move those from the pots over to my sweet pea trellis by the fence, and that will hopefully fill that space. I might need to fill some gaps with some other bedding plants. I did sow some marigold seeds, but absolutely nothing is happening with these whatsoever. So I might need to fill the gaps, maybe with some shop bought marigolds. What else is on my to-do list? Plant the tomatoes. So after the trauma that we've been having with growing the tomatoes from seed, I've managed to get some reasonably good specimens here. This is the best of the bunch. I've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 at a push, 15 seedlings at a push. Some of the smaller ones are so big. But still, you can see the roots are coming out of the bottom of these fibre pots, so they are certainly ready to be planted on. I've got 2 grow bags down on the floor there in the greenhouse, and I've rigged up some string coming down, so that will be good for wrapping around these seedlings or these tomato plants as they grow up, just to keep them upright and stable. So I'm going to be transplanting those into the grow bags later on today. And yeah, just the other day, this week, we went to a place called Middlethorpe Hall. It's just on the outskirts of York. It's actually a hotel and a spa, but they've got some really beautiful gardens. So we had a walk around the gardens and I got some great ideas and some inspiration from there for how I might lay out the allotment. But I did also notice that they had some really beautiful climbing roses. Now I know that the lady from About the Garden, I'm sorry I don't know your name, and Kenroy from the Malcolms, they both have some beautiful climbing roses in their gardens. And after seeing them at Middlethorpe Hall, I really felt the need to get some myself. So let me grab one here to show you. Look at this beautiful specimen here. I have to come all the way back so you can see the size of it. This is a Phyllis Bide climbing rose. And can you believe this beautiful specimen here was just £11.99 from my local garden centre, back in a second. And this is the second climbing rose. Again, I have to come all the way back here so you can see the size of it. This is called a Starlight Express climbing rose. Again, £11.99. I think that is an absolute bargain, and we can already see, I don't know if you can see there on the camera, some buds. What we've got there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buds on that stem. One of them ready to start blooming, which is absolutely fantastic. So one of the jobs I need to do today as well is to get these planted out against the back fence and tack it to the fence where I think I need to do, so that we can start that climbing process to cover that back fence, and then year on year I'll give it a hard prune back to shape it into how I want it to look over the coming years. Right, that's enough waffle. I think it's time to crack on. Okay, so there we have the sweet peas transplanted. I sowed in the pots 2 or 3 seeds per pot, which has obviously given me multiple seedlings per pot. I don't know if I've done the right thing, we'll soon find out, but I split each individual seedling into an individual plant from the pot. So each one of these you see is one seed that has germinated, and hopefully they are going to grow all the way up this trellis and give us a lovely wall of colour very soon. Okay then, so there, look, 2 rose bushes planted, one there and one there. You may have noticed when I dug the hole, the soil underneath is really rubbish soil actually. It is just topsoil. I think I had 20 tonnes delivered when I built this raised grassed area. So I had to wheelbarrow every wheelbarrow through, I think nearly about 100 wheelbarrows in total from the front of the house to the back. But that's by the by. The quality of this soil is dreadful, so you will have noticed in that hole I put some mycorrhizal fungi, which is apparently good for the root system, and I also put in there some rose and shrub feed pellets, which I've also put some on top as well, and then just to finish off, a mulch of some well rotted manure. So let's just come back and show you what this looks like. There you go, so there's one rose bush and there's the other rose bush. Just tucked in that corner there is my, or are my blueberry bushes. 2 blueberry bushes in there. Let's go and have a little look, see how they're doing. Ah, we've got blueberries, look at those. Okay, they are looking good. So there's the blueberry bushes, rose bush, some sort of tree that will bear some kind of fruit. I'm not quite sure which one it is yet. And this is our apple tree. And here you can see, excuse the sweeping brush, the sweet peas that we've just planted. And now we're just about to nip into the greenhouse and we'll deal with those Tommy Bobs. Alright then, so the next job is to transplant my Tommy Bobs into the, what do they call them, grow bags here. Now what I've done before is I've used some plant pots and I've chopped the bottom off the plant pot. I don't know if you can see there, that each one will sit into the grow bag like this. And what that allows is for you to firstly put more compost in there, so there's a little bit more growing matter for the tomatoes to grow into. But also it means that when you come to watering, you can water straight into these plant pots here, and you can put lots of water in, whereas when you water onto the grow bags directly, the water just tends to run away. So this is a great way of making sure you can really get a good watering of each of the tomato plants. It also means as well, which I've read is quite helpful, the deeper that you bury these, all these little white hairs can potentially become roots. So the deeper that you plant these, the more opportunity there is for roots to grow out, and obviously roots growing out means more food and more water for the plant. So it sounds to me like it's going to be a good thing. They smell amazing. Right, so what I need to do is, I've got my stand knife here, I've got one pot that still needs the bottom to be chopped off, and then I need to cut a hole in each of these grow bags, sink these into it, not all the way to the bottom, obviously we need the roots to come down and out from the bottom to use the muck that's in the grow bags. And then, as you can probably see, maybe on the camera you can't see, but I've got these green strings hanging down from the canes that I've anchored to the top of the greenhouse there, and these are going to be for the tomato plants to climb up and keep them nice and upright so they don't topple over once they get too big. Right, I'm going to crack on. So you can see there what the plan is with these. I've sunk these only partially into the grow bag, added a bit more extra compost on top. I've planted them in the fibre tubs, so I've not taken them out of the fibre pots because they're just going to break down. There's the three there, a little bit of string, which is not doing very much at the moment because obviously they're not quite big enough. So next step is another one there, another one there, and another one there. And I'll see you in a moment. Oh, righty tighty. So, some good jobs done there. I'm really happy. So let's recap. What have we done? Well, of course, you saw at the beginning, I cut the lawn. Keeping those lawn cuttings for my next project at the allotment, which is to make my compost bin. I've got 3 pallets ready to make a compost bay. So I'm starting now already to keep things like grass cuttings and scraps of food, peelings and things like that. So we've cut the lawn, and then you saw I planted the sweet peas along the fence. I'm just about, when I finish this video, to nip up to my local garden centre. I've decided I'm going to go buy some marigolds, and I'm going to plant them in between each of the sweet peas at the bottom, and that should just finish that wall of colour off nicely. We then moved to the back fence there, and that's where I planted my climbing roses with some mycorrhizal fungi. Let me get it here so you can see what I'm using. Rootmore, I've got no idea. That thing, okay? And it's supposed to help with root growth, which for these bushes in this soil, I think is going to be really important. Added some rose feed and also some manure as a mulch. So fingers crossed they take. Once they've grown up a little bit, I'll then try to tack them in place so that I can try and trail it along the fence to create something beautiful. And then down here, if you can just see there, this is where I've transplanted the tomato plants, 6 in total, all looking great. So I need to now give everything a really good water. Then I will go to the garden centre, get some marigolds, plonk them in over there by the sweet peas, and then I think it might be time for a brew. Anyway, thanks for tagging along. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you think, tell me what you've been up to, and I look forward to seeing you again in the very next video very soon. Bye for now.